Hey everyone, I'm down in Page, Arizona. I'm going to do a quick workout here. We were going to do our annual Lake Powell trip, but things went wrong, and I will share while I show the workout what happened there to change our plans. We rented this house, so luckily everything's worked out. I'm going to use my 5mm PVC jump rope as I always do. This one's from Dope Ropes. All my ropes are, well, not all of them, but the ones I usually use are from Dope Ropes. So again, this is the 5mm PVC, and this is the extra heavy band from the kit from the Simplicity bands. I call them O-bands. I will link below everything that I'm going to use here, and I'm also going to use my foldable yoga mat. I will link that below. These things I just got off of Amazon, except the jump rope. But any jump rope will work. And I'll just put a simple description of the workout below, and if you want to do this, you can do it on your own, because I'm not going to post the whole thing. Yeah, let's get started. There's a gnat trying to get me. As always, I warm up using jump rope. I start out more easy and then go more intense as I get a little warmer. And we'll also be doing jump rope in between each round. So I have 4 exercises with the band. Some things are optional with the band. And then jump rope move, and I went through that 3 times. And I'll have a rundown of all of the exercises. I'll show them. But I'll also put everything in the description box below, and you can do it on your own if you want to. These are really effective exercises, and I think it's really easy to carry these bands along when I'm traveling, so I can still get a good muscle work and resistance workout and cardio with the jump rope. Before I show those exercises, and while I'm just showing a little bit of my warm-up, I want to talk about how important I think it is to do things like jump rope. Yeah, there's so many kinds of exercises you could be doing. It's just so important to stay active. And again, it's not just the jump rope part, it's the resistance training as well, the weight training. It's just so important. Now that I'm getting older, I just turned 58, it's even more apparent than it ever was. I always tried to be fit. I always worked out, and I taught classes. I did a lot of running. I've talked about that with my other videos. But it's not the same as when you get older. Boy, you can really start telling. And I'm so glad that I'm still mobile, that I'm able to just do so much with my grandkids and my family. And it's because I do these kind of workouts. I can't stress it enough. I hope everyone would want to try these kind of things so that they can have a better quality of life as they get into the middle age. And maybe I'm even getting old. I don't know, 58. Some people think that's old age. We've been going to Lake Powell at least once a year for pretty much all my kids' lives. And sometimes we've had boat breakdowns and bearings go out on the trailer. We've had storms blow us off the lake. We have been rained out. We have had the boat break down and had to wait all day for parts and not even been able to use the boat. But the boat's always made it until this year. We left a little later in the afternoon, and it's about a 5 to 6 hour drive to Wahweap Marina. So, started getting dark. We stopped for gas and saw this beauty. We wouldn't have noticed because it was pouring rain. We couldn't hear the fact that the bearing had gone out, and the wind was blowing so hard, and there was a lot of lightning. It was so loud and so much water on the road. We had no idea that the bearing had blown until we got to that gas station. It was pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and it was a holiday weekend. So my husband was trying to get parts to replace the bearing. We were running back and forth to a town that was about an hour away. It took hours, and he said, we can't fix it. We're going to have to leave the boat here at this gas station. So I thought, well, I've got AAA. So I called them. They said they could come and get it, but I had to be there. So we waited until like midnight, and we still had 3-4 hours left of driving. And finally, they said I could leave, that I didn't have to actually be there when they came and got the boat. And that was good because they didn't have a big trailer big enough to take it, and they couldn't tow it that way with the bearing out. So we traveled ahead without the boat. Luckily, we had rented this house, so I was really happy. So that was in Page. We arrived at around 3 a.m. and just hit the sack. But we were able to go to the lake the next day, and I'll tell you in a minute about some of the stuff we did in case you're interested. But first, the workout.
The first thing is 10 rear lunge front kick with a band for tricep extensions. And I wrap it around my hand because I want even more resistance because it's only 10 reps per side. And I use these pretty frequently because they're so effective, and I also like compound moves. We want to make sure to lunge down really deeply and get a full extension on the arm for a really good contraction for your tricep while keeping your wrist straight. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old, but I'm turning into my dad, where I just notice all the beautiful scenes around me. He used to love to go for long rides, and he would always talk about how beautiful it was, and I just kept thinking how pretty it was. I kept taking pictures. I don't know if you've ever been to southern Utah or Arizona, but it really is always gorgeous. I've always thought so. So here's a few pictures. I think it's obvious we want to do this on both sides, and we want to get a really good amount of work. So again, either shorten up the band or use 2 different amounts out of the kit, because you can use 2 bands together and really make it intense. The house that we rented was pretty amazing, and it backed up to this little area that people used for different things in the back. There was a big area for people to ride side-by-sides and dirt bikes, and one night we noticed this big rig come out, and they started doing this parasailing stuff, and that was really fun to watch. I've seen people do this from afar before, but never so close, so it was kind of interesting to see how the different people's setups worked. It was all different. This next exercise is called Spider-Man push-ups. We're going to do 16 total, so 8 on each side. And I show it with a band on my feet and then without a band. So obviously without the band, your foot can come up higher and closer to your chest. It's really out to the side though. But with the band, so much more intense and activates your core really well. While we're doing this, we're not just working our core, we're also working our chest, arms, and back. So we want to get down as low as we can. Without the band, you'll be able to go a little lower. So just work on that. This next exercise, once again, we're going to shorten up the band as tight as we can or add another band and put it on the opposite shoulder. I'm showing there, keep your wrist straight. And then we're going to do an overhead press while we lift the knee on that same side. And there are 10 on each side. Feel free to do more though. I already mentioned that we had that area behind the house that had those trails. So we rented some side-by-sides, 3 different kinds, and we're able to just walk right through the backyard, through the gate, and go on rides. And that was so fun. We were able to really keep everybody entertained since we weren't able to go to the lake as much as we had planned. And we still went to the lake pretty much every day for a little while, but we had fun doing all sorts of different things. So it was a very different kind of trip. And don't worry, I was involved too. I wasn't doing this while I was working out, or they weren't doing it while I was working out. I was involved. I didn't just say, you guys go do that and I got to work out. So rest assured. And the last exercise, we have the band around the ankles, and it's 16 on each side of a wide squat. And we do want to sink down low, but it's not like a goblet squat or anything where you're going really low. So just really try to work the outer thigh, also known as the hip abductors. So, 16 of those should be really effective. And you may need to double up bands again if you're strong through that area. But sink into it, move your foot out wider, double up the bands to make it as intense as you need. And I went through this whole thing 3 times. I did jump rope in between. So I felt like I got a really good amount of work by doing that. Here's just a little bit more video of those trails. I just think they're so beautiful. I wanted to share that. And I thought this was funny too. While I was doing the workout, I didn't even notice that more of those parasailers, is that what they're called? I don't know. Anyway, I didn't notice till I was editing this that they were going again on the day when I was doing this. So I thought that was kind of funny. They're up in the air behind me. While we were up on the trails, I was able to notice there was this Lake Powell right there. I thought it was so beautiful. I know, like I said, I'm getting old, but everything just is striking me so strongly. There's the back of the house, so that's how close it was to those trails there in Page. And the kids, this is just them when they were all taking turns driving these side-by-sides. I almost say 4x4s. This was also very close to Horseshoe Bend, which is a popular place for people to go visit. In fact, we rode the side-by-sides over there, and you kind of walk out, I don't know, it's not very far, maybe a mile to the lookout point. So we were able to go visit that and have fun doing that together as well. When we were discussing whether or not we wanted to go and who wanted to go to Horseshoe Bend, one of the little granddaughters was so funny. She's 2 years old, and she was listening in, and you hear, "I want to go to Horsey Bend." And it made me wonder what the heck she thought we were talking about. I know this kind of stuff doesn't appeal to everyone, and of course I'm only talking to people who want to stay active into their later years. This is the kind of stuff I'm trying to do to stay active and be able to do the things with my family that we all enjoy doing. And I hope everybody will find something that they can do together to keep their family close. We're really lucky to live close to places like this. But anyone can work out and do these kind of workouts that I'm showing here so that you can stay active too, doing the things that you love to do with your family and feel good into your older years. When I was younger, I always remember people saying how fast time flies and it goes by like a dream. It really does. I was just looking at some pictures. It feels like it was just a couple years ago. And it was my husband and me. And we look so much younger. It's just crazy. And I think, geez, that was before any of our kids were married. We didn't have any grandkids. It goes by so fast. But we don't want to do it feeling unhealthy if we can help it. And I really, think that jump rope, I can't stress it enough how important it is. And lifting weights and resistance exercises too. And of course, along with that, trying to eat as healthy as we can. Get our protein in. Get enough fiber. Fruits and vegetables, man, those are important, along with those protein sources. I know it seems like a lot, but I really feel like it's so worth it.
I finished just in time for it to start to rain. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a fabulous workout on your vacation. These light things are easy to bring, and they can really give you a good workout. So I'll see you soon.